Charolais stud. Whereabouts exactly in New Zealand are we, Bruce?
We're at a little place called Green Park, which is about 20 or 30 minutes west of Christchurch, and it's just a small settlement close to Lake Ellesmere. That's basically where we are, and that's basically where we're farming.
Now, when people of New Zealand think about Charolais, I think a lot of them think of Bruce Fisher and Maureen. Now, where did it all start?
It started a long way back, probably I'd say 40, 42, 43 years ago.
Because you weren't always beef.
No, we were dairy farmers. We were town milk supply dairy farmers, which meant that we milked all the year round and supplied that milk went to the people of Christchurch. And then we were probably in that business for probably 30 or 35 years, and then our old dairy was getting a bit tired, and we had to build a new one, which was going to be very costly. So the Charolais at that time, we were getting perhaps more and more involved with them, and so we made a decision, rightly or wrongly, to get out of the dairy part of it and concentrate on the beef, and it's been a very interesting ride.
Wonderful, really.
Yeah. Now, it wouldn't have been a lot of Charolais at all around.
Very few at that time.
How did you source them, Bruce, to get things going?
Well, we started off, I guess, crossing a few of the Charolais with a few of the dairy cows, some of the early sort of French seamen that came into New Zealand, and we could see straight away that these things had a real potential for New Zealand, and as far as growth rates go, we had huge, like everyone else, we had problems at the start with calvings and wrong type of cattle that came in via England from France. They weren't the type of cattle that we needed over here. By that I mean cattle that were, and calves that were heavy shouldered, just completely the wrong type of cattle that were needed, I guess. And
yeah.
But those growth rates were always there, and once we started digging a wee bit more, we could find out which bulls were the easier type calving ones, and we isolated them, as I say, and we got off pretty well.
Brent and Anna Fisher here at Silverstream Charolais stud. What are you running on the place here, Brent?
Well, I guess the farming operation here consists of around about 1,100 hectares. Of that is 500 hectares of sort of freehold flat land, and of that is about 400 hectares which is irrigated. Some of it's fairly new. We've got some leasehold land that runs around the edge of Lake Ellesmere. It's about 160 hectares there, and just back last May we took over a hill block which is only sort of 4.5 k's from our back boundary on the main Acro highway, and that's sort of going to give us a hell of a lot more balance within our operation.
And that place is going to work in fairly well with the home block?
Yeah, well, in this country is, it's great country in the summer with irrigation and all the rest, but like you get to the winter, it can be quite ordinary. And the cows, like this property was, when we took this property over, it was extremely run down and all the rest, and the cows have done a terrific job in there. And breaking it in, it was sort of covered in a lot of sort of gorse and rushes, and it was in big blocks. So we used the cows to sort of get this place in order. We're on the edge of Lake Ellesmere. It's country that lacks organic matter, and this is a product that really helps build that up.
Whereabouts is this all from?
It's basically derived from people's garden waste in Christchurch. So that's where it originates from.
Yep. And what are you're just putting it on the paddocks?
Yep. Basically, they go through a sort of quite a process. It comes in as sticks and twigs and trimmings and all sorts of stuff, Goes through quite a process here. They break it down, tip it over with diggers, goes through a few mulches, and then it goes through a final screen to end up like this. And basically the same sort of stuff that you get out of your potting mix that you'd buy in a bag in the garden centre.
So as far as the terminal sire, what are you guys really trying to breed?
The type of cattle that we're trying to breed, and I think it's probably where I guess we think the industry should be, is cattle that are reasonably middle of the road as far as their maturity pattern. The country in which the cows are being run is getting harder and harder. We need to be able to breed cattle that have got the ability to finish early or later, depending on seasons, but have that flexibility in their genetic makeup, and that they're not extreme in any way. You don't have to wait till they're 350 kilos that they can be marketed. They can be marketed early or taken through to bigger weights, and that's a certain type of Charolais we've noticed. It's sort of a medium maturity, sort of well muscled, robust sort of an animal. Like constitution is major. You've got to have cattle that are tough, because where they go, they have to be tough. So good structure and just good types of cattle. The types of cattle really that we require haven't really changed that much, but I think we've seen a hell of a lot of people or breeders and trends and things like that whereby people have looked for all sorts of things, but you really always have to come back to where these cattle are being run and are they going to hack it.
Steve Satterthwaite, we're here at Muller Station. Huge property. How big is it, Steve?
In modern terminology, 38,800 hectares.
You're working with some fairly big numbers.
Not relative to Molesworth, no. But we run about 2,000 cattle through the winter, and we have 700 cows calving with 150 odd 2-year-olds to the bore as well. So cattle numbers are steadily climbing.
You're predominantly an Angus man.
As a base cow herd, yeah. As the maternal side of it, Angus is important, but the opportunities for maximising commercial return with cattle is done by crossbreeding. A good hybrid vigour base in our cow herd, and then of course to those we put the Charolais to maximise the hybrid vigour opportunity.
And with those Charolais, you've been returning to Silverstream for quite a few years now.
Yeah, I like the Fishers' aims of functional cattle. They're not big on EBVs. They put them in there now because they think people need them, but the functionality from a crossbreeding program, we want cattle that are relatively moderate, very sound in the structure, good in the coat, good from the insulation points of view for the winters that we have, and pedigree and EBVs don't mean a hell of a lot really. The phenotype's the important thing, and phenotype moderately, moderately phenotypic Charolais cattle, not extremes.
Yeah.
Good fleshing, easy doing cattle.
You talk about that climate, how cold's it getting?
We have relatively long winters. Historically, Molesworth next door's always had a weather station and averaged 220 frost a year. In extreme conditions, we've been down to under -20. Charolais cross cattle going through their early winters, their winters as calves, and if they're here for a second winter, better than some of the straight bred cattle, whether it's the hybrid vigour or whether it's the softness of Angus cattle being bred out of them, I'm not sure, but constitutionally they handle this environment as well as any other. And one of the things I think that is relevant there is that we are able to buy good coated cattle from Silverstream, and that's something that we really place emphasis on, given the length of winter and the potential to be cold. Cattle have to have good coats and good
Professor John Hackford, we're here at Lincoln University. How long have you been here, John?
I've been here since the early 80s, so going on 30 years. Haven't thrown me out yet.
Yep. And you're a lecturer here. What are you lecturing in, John?
Yeah, it focuses on animal breeding and genetics, so I lecture in that, and I supervise postgraduate students working in that area as well. So, so a fairly busy job.
Yep. A lot of work out in the field.
A lot of work out in the field, a lot of research, a lot of fun things.
Yep.
Yep.
And working in fairly closely with Silverstream Charolais, and the team out there?
well, 2 links with Silverstream. I mean, one obviously through Anna Smythe, or Anna Fisher as she now is one of my postgraduate students, has been for a number of years now. And also the production system they use, the use of terminal side genetics is one thing that interests me in genetics. So there's 2 interests there, yeah.
Yeah. And Anna's doing something fairly interesting there with her study.
Yeah, Anna working on genes that control how energy is partitioned in cattle, and she's looking specifically at how, when an animal eats, where the energy that's taken on board goes, whether it stores fat, used for growth, used for reproduction. We've got some genes there that she's looking at that control that. And we know these genes are important in terms of that partitioning of energy, and that's her PhD, is to understand how those genes work and the variation in those genes. Yeah.
Have you done a lot of research on this before?
Yeah, we've done all this in sheep. We started out in sheep about 10 years ago on this and stumbled upon this gene. And we were interested at that stage in lamb survival, and it's important in terms of survival, but as we picked the gene apart and worked out how it worked, we also saw these really powerful effects in terms of growth and lean tissue growth, not fat deposition. In fact, you can pick it so you get very little fat deposition. It has these other effects as well. So it's sort of like a linchpin gene in terms of controlling where energy goes in an animal. So the question we asked is, well, if it works in sheep, will that work in cattle? And that's what Anna's trying to answer with her study.
So John, the Charolais are well known as a high growth rate, widely used terminal.
Yeah.
A good one for Anna to be working on.
Yeah, good breed to work on. I mean, growth rate's king in meat production systems. You want lean tissue mass, you need more lean meat. And so if you can find genes that underpin improved growth rate, you're in business. That's what we want in the industry. So that in concert with the Charolais, which is a terminal size, so it's used primarily to improve meat production, to get high growth rates, to get high meat yields. Yeah, Anna's got her own little playground just down the road here, really, to see how what we're developing at the gene level could be applied in the paddock. And that's important, it's very well for us as scientists to beaver away in the lab and come up with things. You've got to know they work in the paddock as well.
So you are also still studying?
Yes, I am still studying. I've been at Lincoln now for, I think it's about year number 10 or 11, I've lost count.
You're lucky it's just down the road.
Yeah, it's just down the road, just 10 minutes down the road. So I'm doing a PhD in genetics, and yeah, I get down there as much as I can. I try and get down there for 3 or 4 hours a day, but currently can't because my building's been condemned because of the earthquake.
yeah.
So, which has actually worked out quite well because I've had a couple of months to myself to try and get this wedding organised. Now it's over, I'll be able to get back into it.
And the wedding? She was a big wedding.
She was a blast.
Yeah, no, that was good. We had a ball, and it was sort of like a big gathering of a whole lot of people that we know and like, and it included a lot of people that we have that we sell balls to, and or have made good friendships over the years. So it was we had a great day. Weather was good. Just everything went off really well. So Anna had done a great job just getting everything prepared. Think like we'll have a wedding, but can't
Bit of
be
organising there.
Yeah, it can't be that much more difficult
Yeah,
than organising the ball sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it must be easier spending money than trying to make it.
Yeah. But big job.
Yeah.
But it all come together really well.
Yeah.
And I think we had a ball, and I think most people that went enjoyed themselves. So
And a few guys there from overseas?
yes, we've I guess over the years we've spent a fair bit of time backwards and forwards to Australia, and we've got some great friendships and relationships, I guess, we've built up over the years with breeders from over there.
Dave Bonfield from Palgrave Charolais stud in Australia. Whereabouts in Aussie are you, Dave?
Well, Tony, we operate over throughout Queensland and New South Wales, where our base is the southeast corner of Queensland, and we have properties stretching from the New England region of New South Wales up until central Queensland region, about 1,500 kilometres from north to south.
So you're
we have
covering
6 properties.
A couple of conferences there?
Yes, across two time zones, and so it's all a good challenge.
Big place, and what are you running there?
Well, we run about 5 or 6 properties. We run about 2,500 breeding cows, principally our principal business is a purebred Charolais herd. We also has getting up into North Queensland. We also run Brahman content cattle as well, Charolais and Brangus type cattle. We sell about 1,000 bulls a year, so that's our main enterprise, and it's a family business. My wife and I.
And a great relationship you've got with Silverstream.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
When did that start, Dave?
About probably 20 or so years ago, when we first met the Fishers and knew of the Silverstream herd and came and visited. We liked their principles and their and the cattle they're breeding. We a lot of similarities between our program and the Silverstream program here. We've continued an association there, importing genetics from this herd. The good things in the New Zealand cattle we find are the soundness, the foot structure, and the hardiness that we need over there. The hardiness to go through the heat and the tough conditions of mountain country here works really well. The same types of animals survive in our hotter arid type northern country at home. So we do really like that genetic mix, that strength of pedigree that comes from a good herd of cattle, and it's worked very well for a lot of years.
So do you guys find it hard to keep a balance between stockmanship and breeding technologies?
I think the breeding technologies certainly have their place, but as opposed to using it as a marketing tool, we use it as a guide. Yeah, I just don't think we should, see them as the answer. I think, we really need to, keep our good stockmanship, and that is really, really important, when we're breeding animals.
Yeah, well, I think from what, and it's just an observation, is that a lot of these technologies, they get swept along. Like, the stud industry does seem to attract people that are more marketing orientated than often, breeding orientated. That's just an observation that I have. And they'll drop onto something and just hammer it, and people just think, gee, we have to be into this, otherwise we must be slipping behind. But in the main, from what I've seen, the people that stick to the basics and do stick to the good solid stockmanship tend to be the people that always come through. You see the people that flip from one breed to another, they flip from one thing to another, one technology to another, but in the main, farming's a relatively simple business, and good stock, good nutrition, good outcome. Stick to the basics, do all the basics well, and then if you can tweak things a little bit with a lot of the technology, well, all well and good. But don't think that the technology is gonna get you through being, a pretty average farmer, because it won't. I think we've seen a lot of, there's plenty of technology out there and different things, but it all comes back to having that, I guess, that sense of what will actually work in the environment in which these cattle go to, because it's not always easy.
But you've been in the game for a while, and the commercial guys have proved that these things do shift to the hills.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. But I think that it's the commercial people who have guided us.
Yeah.
It's not like we're dictating to them, this is what you should be using. It's basically been the other way around, because like we're always out, looking at what the breeders are doing, what they're saying, and all the rest, and just sort of saying, well, how can we, improve, or what's going wrong, or what's going right, and things like that, because, at the end of the day, they have to be happy, otherwise, you haven't got a business.
Graham, you've been associated with Silverstream Charolais right from your day one in the stud game. What do you love about them?
Oh, it's great. I like their passion,
Yeah.
and obviously they would have to be one of the leading studs in the country, if not in the world, for Charolais. So it's great to be involved with the top studs in the country, definitely.
Yeah. And they've done a bit of pioneering in certain areas?
They definitely have. I think, like obviously Bruce started the stud off, and he was doing a fantastic job there, and Brent's carried on, and now Anna's on the scene as well. So Anna's doing a great job of the promotion. Brent is obviously a very well qualified breeder, judge, and so has Bruce been as well, and it's great to be dealing with top people in the industry.
You've got a fair bit to do with the sale every year, Graham?
Yes, we do. The sales are a very successful sale, it would have to be the top Charolais sale in the country for about the last 3 or 4 years, and if not longer. The bulls go all around the country. A lot of stud bulls are purchased out of Silverstream, and there's also obviously genetics sold overseas as well. But a lot of regular buyers coming back to Silverstream every year, and that's a sign of a stud that's doing the job properly.
Now I see some nice young bulls out there that are going to be coming up for sale. And when's your sale?
13th of June. It's always about the middle Wednesday in June, and we're pretty happy with the way the bulls are coming up. They're looking quite good. They had a really good winter this last year, so they're coming forward and looking nice, really.
Chris Chamberlain, you're a Silverstream client from way back. Whereabouts are you based, Chris?
Port Levy, Banks Peninsula.
Yep.
Farm, Putiki farm over there with my wife Jackie. And we've got about 1,050 hectares out there, and we've got an 80 hectare finishing farm out at Leaston.
And a Charolais man?
Charolais man, yeah, we started farming over there in 1987, and we got involved with the fishers then, and we don't breed any replacements. We've got Angus Hereford cross cows, we buy them in, and for simplicity we just use a Charolais, so we've got all meat breed size, so we're going for the hybrid figure, the three-way cross.
Yeah, and you're fairly steep country out there. What suits you with the Charolais in that department?
I think it's just the simplicity of not having to carry young breeding stock through. We are all hill country, so really we are going just for that efficiency of having a meat breed over a maternal beef bred cow. So the heifers especially are all fattened at Leaston, and we just try and produce good, easy fleshing, early maturing calves.
Yeah.
And we sell some and we take some through.
Yeah, fairly good job at the wedding there the other night.
Yeah, wasn't easy. 300 people was quite a daunting task. No, but the fishers are really good people, and the crowd that was there were pretty forgiving.
Not only is it a rural wedding, it's also the coming together of two very, very different pedigrees. Over a Hereford, and again I'm sure Anna will do it vice versa, because I don't know who pulled the punches, but I certainly saw a Hereford lead that bridal party into the day.
One thing I noticed there at the wedding, the Charolais and the Herefords coming up the aisle. What do you think of these Herefords sneaking in?
Oh yeah, I've always been a big fan of the Hereford cattle. I think that they add a lot. They've got a big contribution to make into the beef industry. Obviously we've got a very strong Angus cow herd in New Zealand, but like a Hereford Angus cow would far sooner have a crossbred Hereford Angus cow than either a straight Angus or a straight Hereford. Yeah. And they certainly are very good cattle. And I'm looking forward to getting more involved with them. Yeah. Because it's another challenge, something else to learn. Yeah. And it's great. I think that we've got those common interests in the fact that Anna's bringing in the Herefords and I've got the Charolais there, and we can talk about different bloodlines and breeding, and she obviously knows a hell of a lot more than me, and probably always will. But it's fun, and it's something that we can grow together, I guess. Yeah.
And have you come to quite like the Charolais?
Yeah, I really like the Charolais. Clearly I've got a soft spot for the Herefords because I grew up with them, but really I'm just a cattle person, and it doesn't really worry me what colour as long as they're good cattle. Yeah. I think that's what I like so much about the Charolais is these Charolais are really good cattle, and they've got the good bone and the good constitution, and I just love looking at a paddock full of really good cows.
So on the family side of things, you guys would be happy to see that the farm carry on for the next generation?
We would love to see that happen. Sometimes it's not possible today, and with the economic things the way they are, but we're certainly working towards that, and we've got it, obviously with Anna and Brent.
We're very lucky that
they
they love the cattle like we do, so
yeah.
That's the main thing.
They've got a real feel for them and what the breed needs, and so yes, we're really happy.
For more information on the PGG Wrightson stud tower, visit ruralmedia.com.au.